right.
We're going live on Facebook right now. Right now.
Right,
Right now.
It's
Right
now. Now. Live. New. All right, y'all. I believe we on live. So make sure I'm some double check. We live, y'all.
Yo.
We live, y'all. What's good?
Your favorite podcast duo.
The Junction.
The greatest of all greats.
Undefeated.
The chosen ones.
Uncomparable.
Oh, undescribable. Incomparable.
The Junction.
The Junction Podcast is back.
Claps. You don't got the claps, bro. We don't got the claps. We not clap sound effects.
Stop with us.
What's good, y'all? This is the Junction Podcast. It's your boy Akeem.
And it's your boy Jason.
Yeah, man. And this is our podcast.
I miss y'all. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I miss this feeling right here. This game time feeling. I haven't had this since high school, since basketball.
She's dropping buckets.
You know what I'm saying?
It's been a minute. It's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. And yeah, so we had this podcast for like 2 years. And we've been slacking, but we back on it. A lot
of bumps.
Yo, a lot of
bumps in the road.
Yeah, but
that's what life is about. You're gonna go through some bumps, but guess what? You gotta keep on driving.
And we back. This is what we do.
You're on the highway now, baby.
This is what we do.
You're on the highway now.
Facts. Especially in this whole climate with coronavirus, and especially what we're about to jump into.
Yeah, we're not on the real highway. Fake highway.
It's been a lot in our minds, a lot going on. And what better time? What a time to be alive. What better time to jump on the podcast now and get back in and discuss these issues? Because that's what we're about. This is what we're about. Sure. All right. So as we posted, as we talked about, this is the podcast on George Floyd. If you don't know, I mean, you should know. Social media has been going crazy and discussing it with families, discussing it with your friends. Man, this has been a crazy time. So this episode is dedicated to George Floyd and talking about the police killings that's been going on in this whole environment. And we have some amazing guests on our live today, man. These are our guys, our brothers.
These are icons right now. Future icons in the making.
Facts, yo.
These are influential leaders right here. You don't know their name yet, but you will.
Talk. It's true. It's true. So who we going first? Who gonna get introduced first? Who?
Pick a name, any name.
Any name.
There's no going wrong with it.
All right, let's start off with the Clack man himself.
The boss, the visionary,
the producer.
Oh man.
This man has been inspiration and a role model in our lives from the beginning. You know, since we were kids. He was our day camp counselor, day camp man, basketball coach.
Yo, day camp man was classic. They don't even know about day camp.
That's another episode.
That's better than Superman.
Day camp.
Day camp man.
If you know anything about day camp man, is the greatest superhero of all time. We're gonna talk about this. Forget Marvel, but that's
another podcast.
Another podcast. We're back to day camp man, but. He was our coach. He was our pastor. He was our trainer. Everything, man.
And now he's our friend.
Our producer, Mr. Clack, Keon Lewis. Give it up.
Let's clap it up.
Hey!
What's going on, family?
What's good?
I'm excited about being on the podcast today.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the conversation that we're about to engage in.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for having us.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. For sure. Thank you for being here. And next we have our bro, Frankie. This man's been in our lives for a minute. He's been our brother, our friend, always there to encourage and push us. Frankie don't play those games.
Sir.
He will cuss you out and be like, yo, stop playing around.
He'll
what
get
you gotta do. And he got straight for this podcast. There was a minute where Frankie would call me like 6 o'clock in the morning, like, yo, what are you doing? Stop playing around.
He will set you straight.
Facts. So
if you crooked, your boy he'll shake you up, and it's all out of love. Like he's full of love, man. He has a balance of love and toughness that keeps you going. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, man. He's like, yeah, for real. He's our friend. He's a husband. He's a father, and he's dedicated his life to the Black community too, and working
and
in
he's
politics.
doing great at all of it.
Facts. Like and always killing, always striving. And it's our bro Francois Genti. Give it up.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure and an honor, man. You guys are doing some great things. Thank you for having me on this show. I'm ready to get into this discussion, a much needed discussion.
Yeah, man.
And I'm here to give my perspective. I'm here to share the hurt. I'm here to share the pain. Let's get into it, man.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Jay, you want to get into last but not least?
Last but not least.
Go no loose.
Come on, we got Shaquille Taylor, the pastor, the basketball savant,
the old head,
the old head. The old head. Oh my gosh, I never seen somebody so young and so old
at the same time. Yo, bro,
like, I don't know how he lives with both of them in his head. Like it's just
facts.
I couldn't do it, but he has done it. He has managed that line gracefully, and he is a leader. He is a father of 5 beautiful Black girls.
Yeah,
he's a husband. He is a he's a hooper. He's everything. So
yeah,
welcome, Shaq.
Shaquille Taylor. Welcome.
Hey, appreciate y'all having me on, man. I'm excited, humbled, honored. And yes, I'm a hooper and I will smoke you, Jason.
All right. I don't know about all that, man.
Buckets.
Well, I want to see that energy.
The boy still got a couple years in the clip ready. Like, they
We
don't
need to
call me
record
Jimmy
that
Jason
match.
for no reason.
Facts.
We need to record that match.
5 kids take off 5 years, so
I don't know about that.
You know what I'm saying?
Shaq might need his knee brace. He might need some.
Yeah, you got asked about me out here. I'm out here in Island Garden giving out work. Tell him, Keon. Tell him.
I don't know about that, brother.
All right. I knew that was coming. I set myself up for that.
Yo,
I'm the old head. I'm the old head in the group that still get work.
with the hook shot. Keon still got the hook shot.
No, he got the pump fake, the pass fake, but to the left hand side.
The old faithful.
Hey, Jason looks like the soccer player that plays basketball and his layup come off the backboard.
In the Adidas pants.
Yo, Shaq, we not gonna have none of that, bro. This is gonna be some serious conversation. You can be cutting in the middle, bro. Yo, so let's jump right into it. Like we said, this is a podcast about the current everything that's been going on. George Floyd, he was a Black man in Minnesota who was murdered in the street, and we see the uproar of our community, and it's just been a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and a lot of just not understanding why this is still happening. I remember in 2016, I had a class where I had to do a paper on killings, or I had to do a program on killings, and it's the fact that we're still dealing with this today. And this wasn't the first one this year. It was like 5 this year. Mm-hmm. And is getting to a boiling point where people can't take it anymore. People are outside protesting right now. I have some friends back in DC that's protesting right now. I'm currently in Charlotte. Charlotte is going up in flames right now. So it's like people are upset, and we've been here before, and that's the hard part. We've been here before, like and it's tough. It's really tough to manage, and that feeling of numbness too. Like you get a feeling of getting used to it, like seeing these headlines, like we've seen it all the time.
It's definitely a battle to deal with that numbness. To it's like, yo, you don't ever want to get used to seeing Black people dying. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that you want to get used to, but it's been since Trayvon Martin down, it just feels like it's just constant. Like it's just like every couple of weeks, every couple of months. Like if you look for it, you can find it every day to find another Black person who's been killed and unjustly for no reason, and the police are still not gotten charged properly and all that stuff. Yeah, and it's frustrating. It's draining. That's the word. A lot of people are exhausted, and I 100% feel that. Yeah,
and that's the tough part. Is George Floyd is not even is the people who aren't named, the people that, like you said, who we don't know and don't know that doesn't come up in the news, that doesn't get the uproar. This happens in every city all the time, and we just felt like we need to do this podcast to come together as Black men to express our frustrations. Just Black men in society in general, we don't have the outlet to always say how we feel and truly feel. And it's just this feeling, just being upset and being fed up. So that's why we have these amazing men here. These are husbands, these are fathers, and these are just Black men in
educated
America.
black
Ready,
men
yeah,
at that.
facts. Ready to share how they feel. So, jumping right into it, I want to give you guys each an opportunity to let us know what's going. Like, what was your reaction to everything? How yeah, what's your initial reactions? Francois, you could go first.
Yeah. For me, I did get that feeling of numbness. Uh, it's like another one. It's like at first it started with Aubrey. Like Aubrey was just like, dag, like they killed him like an animal in the street, and then not even a couple of months later, you got the situation with brother Floyd. It came to a point where I'm about to have my second child, and it's another boy. I'm about to be raising two black men in an America that is designed to kill them.
Man.
And if I could be completely transparent, I sat by my son's bedside one night and I cried. Like, if I could be I cried because it's like, I can't have eyes on him 24/7. There are gonna be moments where he's not within my grasp or within my reach. And in those moments are moments of anxiety. Every second is a moment, not because the world is crazy, because he's a black man. And to see society have no regard, to see police, law enforcement that is supposed to protect us have no regard for our life, you don't know, like that anxiety. And I understand. Before, remember when we was growing up, we would ask our mom to go to the park, or we would go ask our mom, yo, can I go to my friend's house, or can I go outside? Let me chill on the stoop. There was a lack of understanding on our part, in the sense of we didn't know what was going on at the time, because even when we was growing up, this was still happening. Like it's been continuous throughout time. So my initial feeling, it just brought everything back to memory and everything into focus. And it was just like, I got a rush of anxiety for my boys. Like, how am I going to raise them? Do I raise them to be resilient, or do I raise them to be resilient just enough to stay alive? It was just a lot of questioning going on in my head, and almost second guessing if I had the capability to raise them in this climate. It would, if I'm being transparent, I just want to be extremely transparent, because a lot of people are saying this stuff and are not even brave enough to say these things. But this is why we lean on each other. But that was my initial reaction.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Keon, how you felt about all of this?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna echo the sentiments of, like, actually, as you asked me that, my little guy just came in. He's about to make himself a beverage.
What's good, Noah? Shout out to Noah. First Junction Podcast. Shout out to Noah.
Right.
And he's gonna ask me to pour the beverage on timing as you asked. But what I gotta say is this: is that I too was numb. I was also numb about the situation. Oh guy, he had to make his debut. Sorry.
It's all good.
Good, man.
Noah.
Yeah, good. Thanks. I too was numb about it because I've experienced this for a long time. I'm the old head in the group. I'm super old. I act young, but I've seen a lot of situations like this happen, and this one it didn't really hit me as hard as the other ones because of this one reason, not because it was less bad or less potent in terms of like the sadness. The Trayvon Martin one was just kind of like the last straw for me in terms of like being just letting my emotions just overtake me. This one was more like me looking at compassion to the people who are reacting to it. You know, I started to see rage that I had in other situations, and I see it in other people, who are just now being introduced to this rage and this sadness and this pain. And it just gave me compassion for them, and I'm more motivated to have a conversation that will help us all be on a good trajectory and not let the rage or this to continue to be an event that we experience all the time. I'm gonna just close off with this in terms of my introduction. I feel like this has motivated me even more to come up with a solution, come up with a plan, galvanize with my brothers. And these are all the things that I started to do after Trayvon Martin. That was like the last one where I say, you know what, enough about me. We got to make sure that the next generation is good. That my son, who just barged in to get some drinks, he's good. And he don't have to worry about the same situations in the same world that I lived in. It's going to be totally different. Yeah.
Appreciate that. I feel you. Shaq, it's on you, bro.
For me, man, my feelings are totally on the other side as far as Keon's feelings. I feel like this one hurt me the most because I got to actually watch it, and I got to actually see a man's knee on a man's neck for 8 minutes straight. And not only that, but I also got to see the fact that there were witnesses, people around the situation that were actually watching and yelling and pleading and telling him to get off and screaming and trying to help the situation verbally as best as they can. And you look into this man's eyes, you look at his face, you look at his whole body language, you see his aura, and you could tell that he does not care. So that's why for me, it hurt. This one hurt me the most because I actually got to see a man lose his life second by second by second by second. And I just, as you, not only that, you hear a man that has lost his mom yell for his mom. Like he already lost his mom and he's yelling for his mom, which means that he's in a whole nother world. Like his whole life is flashing before his eyes, right? He's already in the zone of, I'm going to die. I'm out of here. Like there's no way that I'm gonna get up from this. And it tells me that, just point blank period, that my life don't matter because of the color of my skin, because there's somebody recording you kill me and you still look up and you look into everyone's eyes as if this is what I do. I got the power to do this and ain't nobody gonna stop me. And so I fear for my brothers. I fear for my uncles. I fear for my friends. I fear for my daughters. And not only that, but I fear for myself. I fear that one day my wife will have to be a widow. I fear that one day my daughters aren't going to have a man that will love them the right way, so that they will see how a man is supposed to love, all because of the color of my skin. And it's disappointing. It's disappointing.
Yeah. I definitely feel that. Like the image of that, like from all of this is the one that sticks with me the most because of the image of his knee on his neck. That image will never leave my mind ever. Like I think it's like stained, it's there forever. And for that reason, I think this one hits the hardest in terms of it's just disgusting. All of them are equal in the injustice and anger of it, but the image of it is just the image of a man's knee on his neck pressing down, and he's just like, his neck is bent, he can't do anything. It just hurts the most.
That's real. So before we jump any further, I first want to thank y'all for coming on the live. I'm talking about the people who tuned in. Thank you for tuning in on the live. Please drop your questions, all your comments that y'all want to, everything. So let us know what y'all want. If we want to hear a question or answer a specific question, let us know. So the next question I have for y'all is straight up. We've seen the video. Like we said, we've seen this over and over again. This is nothing new. We've experienced this as being Black men and Black women and Black people in general in this country. This is part of our daily lives, dealing with these killings. What type of time should Black people be on right now? Straight up. And I want to hear what y'all feel like in terms of, that people are protesting. We know that people are doing certain organizations. In this anger, in this time, what type of time should we be on for real?
Lead us off, Shaq.
Honestly, I think with a situation like this, first let me say this. I think that white people, if I can say that, I can say that on here.
Yeah.
I think white people have to stop trying to tell black people how to feel. Like
Facts.
they got to stop trying to tell black people how to feel. Stop trying to tell us what our emotions should be. Stop trying to tell us how we need to cry and how we need to respond to seeing one of our brothers die. Okay. Secondly, I would say this. I would say that the timing that we need to be on is mourning. We need to be mourning. I think that, and this only happens with black problems. When black problems occur, everybody tries to come up with a solution right away, right?
Yeah.
And you don't give yourself enough time to process and mourn and cry and hurt and feel the pain and the agony of the situation. Because I believe this, the more time you spend crying, the better the solution is going to be. Why? Because you're going to remember that you don't want to feel that pain ever again.
Yeah. And
so for me personally, you know, we talk about the riots, we talk about people doing all these violent acts out on the street because they're retaliating. And I just stick with my beginning sentiments. People are rioting, yes. People are being violent, yes. But white people, you do not get to tell us how to feel. So the timing I need to be on is the timing that I'm feeling at the moment, period.
Man.
A quick question based off of what you're saying about mourning. So how are you coping with this? Like, how are you coping? How do you, how are you grieving? Like, what are you doing in your, cause that looks different for everybody. Like what does your grieving look like?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm just grieving. Like I'm just crying. I'm not sleeping. I'm trying to pray. But I have no words to give God right now. So I don't think that I'm processing in a healthy way, but I do think that I'm talking to as much people as I can as far as our black brothers and sisters and sharing our pain. I think that has helped me a lot as far as coping is concerned, is that I've been able to share with my friends how I feel and vice versa. They've been able to share with me how we feel. And then we go into experiences that we've been through, because we got to understand, when you see stuff like this, automatically you remember the time that it happened to you, right? So now that there's another pain that's attached to what you already feeling. So I would say for me, I don't necessarily have a plan on how I'm coping. I just know that I'm getting through it. I'm mourning, I'm crying, and I'm doing all the things that's just natural for me to do.
That's fair. That's real. Keon, what type of time should we be on, bro?
Well, what type of time I'm on is the time I've always been on. That's what it is. Like that. When I say that this didn't affect me any different, it's not to say that I was lacking of empathy or not feeling any emotions or this was a sad thing. It was just like I was already thinking about all the sadness that exists in this world and all this inequality. It's always at the forefront. There was never a rest or a prize for me. You know what I'm saying? It was always my mind scrambling to how do I affect and change this world so that my son doesn't ever have to know like the things I had to feel and experience. You know, when these issues and situations happen, is a unique thing is that we internalize it all the time. So if we see a young man who is not armed, killed, and there is no recourse for that, we feel it like, dang, that's me, that's my brother, that's my cousin, that's my uncle, all the time. That's the energy we are on all the time.
Yeah.
And what impacted me the most, like I said before, was that the interview. I don't know if you guys saw the interview of the young man that was there, and he was the eyewitness of the whole situation. And he was a guy who, he said he was trained in martial arts. He knew what he was able to do. He knew what was going on in terms of that being a submission that was going to take the man's life. He saw the different stages of the man's life being taken away. Man. And my heart wrenched when I saw somebody who was right there on the scene, having the ability to stop it, or trying to, not he didn't have the ability to stop it. Let's be real, because now he would have been a victim as well. But right there, just right there, and not being able to do anything about it. That's what
and that's the part I'm trying to get. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to understand is like, at what point are we gonna get to the place where like it's not even care? I think you talked about before, like not even care about the repercussions of certain actions because we've been in this place so many times. When I'm walking in DC in the train station and I see a black kid stop for like jumping the turnstile or a black kid stop for any, I stop and I make sure I look and I'm watching just to make sure everything is all good because you never know how they're gonna turn out. At what point are we gonna be able to step into those moments and seeing how these race soldiers are gonna be killing our black men? Like, yo, nah, I don't care what you wear, I don't care what badge you got on, I don't care what you wearing, I'm gonna step in and stop this thing. Like what point do we get to that point? Or would it ever get to that place?
Just to piggyback off of that, and I'm not going to be, is that we have to put a situation or create a culture where if a guy was to step in, that everybody got his back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not just got his back physically, but like financially, all those different instances. Like he knows he's secure, and everybody.
Right.
There's politicians that got his back. There's governors that got his back. We have to attack this. If this is a warfare on the lives of black men and black people in general in this country, then we have to wage it on all fronts. It can't just be on this front, you know, like physical. It has to be that and other fronts as well. You know what I'm saying? And so the type of time I'm on is like group economics, like coming together and building wealth, not just to accumulate for ourselves or to show other people, look what we got, but start to rebuild our community and start to and put ourselves in a situation while protecting each other, while protesting, while letting them know that this is not going to be tolerated, putting ourselves in a situation that the next generation that's coming up, they're not going to stand for this. We setting them up for a situation where like, you're not touching them, all right? And that whether it be through them being educated, whether they had that type of money where they got the lawyer fees, whether they had the type of time where your whole life is going to be devastated if you lay your hand on it. I'm talking about money, power, respect type of time. Like there's weight, there is heavy weight when you do something like this.
Frank,
can I say something?
Yeah.
I just got a question. Like, how do we rebuild a community that we don't own? Like, how do we rebuild a community that's no longer ours? Gentrification done proved that this is not ours anymore. You understand what I'm saying? So if we don't, how do we not take it? Like, how do we not take it and then rebuild it? Like, how are we gonna just jump into something that's not ours? Like, there are forces behind our neighborhoods that control our neighborhoods that don't look like you and me. So how do I rebuild a community that I don't own? You get what I'm saying?
So I'd like to speak to that. There was a saying that I heard somebody say earlier. It was something like a social plan without an economic plan is already planned to set up to fail, right? Or along something of the lines of that. But so the way that we do that, the way that we go into something is we build. Even in building from the ground up, we may not own nothing, but let's support our black businesses. Let's support our black. Let's stop buying food from the Starbucks. Let's look for a black-owned coffee shop and be like, you know what? We pouring our money into you because guess what? When things do pop off and we do need to protect someone, the whole community has been giving you money. You know what? Oh, that person. Oh, I'm gonna post bail for that dude. I'm gonna pay for that lawyers. I'm gonna pay for that dude's lawyer fees. If we circulate the dollar within our community, whether it could be restaurants, whether it be manufacturing, whether it be clothing, on all fronts, like Keon said, and I completely support his vision and what he said. If we pour our money and circulate the dollar within our community, then we will have the funds to support our own community. We would have the foundation to build that type of infrastructure where we can move forward on all fronts, because money is king in America. This is a capital. We live off capitalism, but if we have our own money, our own property, things that we own, then we can start. Then we have a real seat at the table, and in us having a real seat at the table, then we can make demands, and we can pull from that.
Well, then I think our our intentions have to shift now, because I think what a lot of our Black businesses are doing, a lot of our Black businesses are being created to fund our families and to feed our families and to feed our next generations. Like, I think from what you guys are saying is that it has to be bigger than us, right?
Oh, yes.
It has to be bigger than me, my kids, my wife, my peoples. It has to be something to where my stuff is not too expensive because the people in my hood got to be able to afford it, right? Yeah. My stuff can't be too, you know what I'm saying? Like, the price can't be too crazy because the people that live across the street from me that's on government assisted, like, they got to be able to afford this stuff. So I think that our intentions now, if we're going to talk about, you know, rebuilding our communities, we need to rebuild the mind and stop thinking for ourselves and thinking, you know, I got to do this for my son. I got to do this for my kid. I got to do this for my brother. I got to do this for my sister. And we got to start thinking, how does everybody eat off of this?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You have to be willing to sacrifice.
Jack, you hit it right on the nail, man. The type true purpose, when a man has a true purpose, it's not only for himself, it's for his community. All right, it's for the world. When you come together with your purpose, the reason why you exist, or you find a passion that you are engaged in with your whole being, it's not for yourself. It's not for your immediate. It's for you leaving the world to be a better place. And right, and especially your world. And so as a Black man, once one finds his purpose, you got to understand, like, yo, it's not for you only, because everything that you accumulate here on this earth, you cannot take it after this earth, after you're gone. And so you have to have the understanding, like, yo, I got to leave this place better than I saw it, than it was left for me. And so it's mindset over anything else. You know, when you say gentrification, yes, that's happening, and it's ridiculous, and it sometimes feels like it's a crippling and hopeless situation. But we have to also change mindsets of, yo, owning a laundromat is a wave, or owning a corner store, that's a dope thing, or I could save up my money and build this, or come together with my brothers and build that, and that's cool. These things should be what we start to like formulate to be a normalcy, and not just pockets of guys, groups of people saying, you know what, there are other solutions that I can be engaged in to wage war on what's happening to me, and not stand idly by. And you know what, when you do that, I understand that there's going to be resistance. You know, when you do try to buy that corner store, when you do try to buy that laundromat, or when you do try to buy a franchise in your community, there's going to be blowback. But that's a war to wage, and everybody should support them. You know, and not just support, but so that's a business that I want to put my dollar in. You know, support is like, you know, I'm trying to do something for you. No, I'm not doing something for you. When I do this, when I go out and search for your business, I'm doing it for me too. I'm doing it for the next generation. All right. I'm doing it for this community. And once we have that mentality, we're gonna be all right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to get off.
No, I definitely know. You set it up right.
You know I'm just saying that Black business owners can't just talk about support when you're not supporting this and making it affordable for me. You get what I'm saying? Like, we can't just keep talking support, and the thing that you're selling me is $200 more expensive than if I got it somewhere else. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that, yes, we do need to support, but we need to support in how we strategize things so that we can help everybody. You get what I'm saying? Like, I agree. I agree with what y'all saying.
But what I would like to speak to that, I would like, because what you said and what Keon just said about one person wanting to purchase a corner store and doing it on their own, all of that kind of trickles into one. I'll paint a picture for you real quick as I can. Say if somebody wanted to buy a corner store, a Black guy wanted to buy a corner store, he wanted to invest in this property. He has no generational wealth. He goes to the bank, he buys the bank, he gets the loan, he does what he needs to do, he gets all the merchandise that he needs to get. But guess what? He's by himself. There is a necessary markup that he has to do for him to even survive, for the business to survive. Now, if we're doing this strategically, if we're doing this in a way where it's going to be sustainable, if we're doing this in a way where everybody can get their agenda pushed forward, where we're gonna own every piece of the pie and every piece of the puzzle, what we have to do is it has to be a situation where Keon has to be comfortable enough to come to a person like me, like, yo, Frank, I want to buy this corner store. And then I bring Akeem and Jason and Shaquille together, like, yo, our brother wants to buy this corner store. Let's get some money together. That way, his payment, his loan from the bank ain't killing him. He has a loan from us, but guess what? It's a community thing. We helping him get that spot, and when he gets that spot, we move on to the next person's agenda. We make sure his business is thriving, then his business pours into another business, and those two business pours into another business. And as we follow a trajectory like that, or come up with it, I'm not saying it has to be exactly like that, but it has to be constructed in a way where it's not one man is an island and one man is trying to do something for themselves. And this is why we have to come together as a community economically and economically structure ourselves to where, and rewire our mind economically, where it's not, I'm trying to get a quick dollar. No, it's like, okay, who out of my circle could get to where they need to get to quickest? Let me help them. Let's pour into them and let's see who's next. And it has to be a selfless act.
So does my fault? I just got.
No, you go. Go ahead.
Does pouring into our communities economically stop a George Floyd from dying?
That's a good question. And while you guys were both talking about that, I could hear like minds rumbling about how, what does that got to do with what's going on? I'm just talking about warfare on all fronts. If you want to be strategic, like, yes, I get rage. I get anger because I feel it. I live with it. You know, I understand it. You know, just like, you know, when Bane says, you just introduced to the darkness. You know, I was born in the darkness. You know, it's just that kind of feeling. Like, I've always felt like this since I was a young man. You know, I understood, like, when I was a young man and I got harassed or I experienced the things that I experienced, like, or I saw the things that I saw, like, and the rage that I had, the anger that I had, that a complexion and a culture that I was born into, that I love, that I enjoy being. I'm just in love with being who I am and being a Black man, being a Caribbean man, being a person of such rich culture is deemed as a threat, is deemed as evil, is deemed as wrong. I live with that. And can I answer if this is going to be the solution or this is going to stop a killing? No, but I guarantee you that if we look at it as a long-term plan in terms of being more economically strong, being more militant-minded, not trying, also on another front, not trying to just be accepted, or, you know, that's one thing that we do. Once we get a lot of money, we try to, like, oh, now look, I'm down, right? You accept me into the group.
I'm not Black, I'm OJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not Black no more. I got money now, I'm good.
Before they see how much money is in your bank account, they see you. Before they know who you are as a person, they see you. We can't hide. We can't hide. So I'm just talking about there will be respect. And how do we get respect in this world? Is through power. It's through power. And if we was gonna go pound for pound right now, in terms of wage war right now, we can't. It's not strategic. It's not strategic because we haven't dealt with a battle within the ranks. You know what I'm saying? We haven't dealt with the battle that's amongst us. So what I'm talking about is being strategic. Being strategic, yes. Channel that energy, yes. Channel that rage. And while you stand on that picking line, that's when you say, yo, this is not going to continue to happen, and make noise. You also on the back end say, so next time we come back at you, it's a little bit more different. And every year it's a little bit more different. And so they start to see, we can't do this no more.
So real quick, there was a question in the chat, and it said, I think Shaq, you might speak to this, is somebody asked, why is why are Black people expected to be peaceful in a war? I think, Keon, what you're saying is the way we do war has to be different. Like you said, if we do pound for pound, we're not going to win that. Like, but the way we do war has to be different. I don't know, Shaq, you about to speak to that, but like,
I don't know if we could win. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm just, this is the type of time I'm on.
Talk, Shaq. Talk that talk.
We can win. I don't know if we can win without aggression, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because we can have all the influence in the world, but we are only 13% of the population. Do you understand me? Like, we're never going to be equals. Like, we're never going to hit that spot where they're gonna think that we're better than them. Like, Keon talked about something that I like. He talked about the war within the war, right? Where he said that we have our issues. But again, we also got to understand that we did not create our issues. These people created our issues, and they're still controlling our issues. So it's like, if I throw all of y'all in a house, in a burning house, and I got the key and you can't get out, what are you gonna do? Are y'all gonna come together and be like, oh, we should do this and we should do that? Nah, like, y'all gonna try to take the key from me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna try to grab the key and you're gonna try to get out the house because you realize that this person locked me in. You get what I'm saying? And that's just how I feel. I'm not saying that that's the truth. I'm not saying that that's the way. I'm just saying that that's how I feel. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd like to speak to that. One thing I'll say is, and I'm looking at the comments in the Facebook Live that's going on. Somebody said something, and I was thinking it. I don't know why I said it. Money is king. So money is that key that you're talking about, Shaq. And a lot of people want to say, yeah, but there was a video, and I was speaking to you guys about this earlier. There was a video of an officer who got separated from his unit in the middle of a riot. This officer stood in front of a mob of hundreds of angry Black folk who were going to tear him to shreds. However, there were some level-headed Black men who chained themselves around the police officer to protect him. Why? Not because they condone police brutality, not because they support the police in this time and era. No, because they understood the repercussions and they understood how negatively that act would have impacted the movement that is going on right now. They saved that man, not because they saved him, but because they were saving the movement. And you need to understand, in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the aggression, in the midst of all this emotion that we're feeling, we have to be level-headed. And in being level-headed, I understand where Keon's mind is when he says, you know what, I do empathize, I do sympathize, but it doesn't hit me because he has a mindset of, you know what, I'm building. Yeah. Because at the same time, if you don't have nothing, you can't. If you don't got a gun, you can't fight. You don't bring it. You don't go throwing bows and somebody has a rifle. Like, they're just gonna shoot you and kill you. If we build up our arsenal, our economic arsenal, our arsenal with money and resources, and really build our reserve, we can do something in action physically, but we would have, like Keon has been saying throughout the conversation, we would have something on the back end to support it. If we have nothing on the back end to support it, there's no sense in going to war. There's no sense. It doesn't make no sense, because all you're gonna do is it's another 100 Black people in jail, another 100 Black, and then we just go cycle in the system again. There's nobody. There's no bail reform. There's no prison reform. There's nobody. There's no lawyers lawyering up to get people out of jail that same night. People are spending weeks and months in jail for when they protest for the people who don't have the right connections and don't have. Like, we have to be very strategic when it comes to these things.
But Frank, I'm reminded of a story in the Bible, and I'm sorry that I got to use the Bible. I'm reminded of a story in the Bible where there was a man who was building a wall, right? There was a man who was building a wall. And as he was building a wall, because he heard that the walls in his community fell down. And as he was building the wall, he realized that there were people that were trying to attack him while he was building. and he had to defend himself aggressively. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not, again, I don't want nobody to get it twisted. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying, I wonder if there has to be some type of aggression while we build.
So let me say this. I always say two things could be true at the same time. So I feel like there's like two different ends. Like, oh, we could be economically, or we could also deal with aggression. We can do both. We can be forces on all sides. So dealing with this current situation right now, these white police officers, I believe the Asian police officers also, they need to be indicted and convicted by this justice system. That's a way. This is a way of fighting and part of that warfare and showing that there are repercussions for your actions. I posted something earlier today that Michael Vick served more times than all the police people who killed unarmed Black men combined. So we're seeing that there's no repercussions for these actions. So while we're building economically, and I agree with all of that, there needs to be immediate action right now for these racists and these white supremacists that are moving through these streets and killing our Black men. And both things could be true at the same time. We don't have to choose either or. There are answers for it right now, which is also ties into, I believe Shaq and Keon was speaking to, that our part in playing in this. There needs to be more Black prosecutors. There needs to be more Black judges, more Black police officers, more Black therapists, more Black everything, so that in times like this, they know, these white supremacists know, that if you kill one of our own, there's going to be problems. There's going to be serious problems. Not while we're still building our communities, while we're still supporting each other, there's going to be current problems when you mess with one of our own people. And the fact that, like you said, we don't have that power right now because we're not in those positions. But the moment we get in those positions, when we have the power to respond to those things right now. The reason why he was looking at the camera, because he, like Shaq said, he knew that he was going to get away with it. He knew he was going to get fired, be on paid leave, and all these type of things. How can we respond to these things currently right now in the face of these things?
Wait, I have a question. You said talking about like there's not been enough Black prosecutors and judges and stuff like that. Is that because there's not a lot of people trying to be those things, or they're not letting us in?
No,
they understand that would give us a foothold to have more power if they let us to be judges and stuff like that. Is it the same? Two things could be true. The same thing for that.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Two things can be true. There's not enough Black people who feel like they can be these things. There's not the Department of Justice. Only 6% are Black attorneys, and that's both because they don't want Black people. They don't want Black people to excel and be more. But it's also people not going out there and trying. Us not being in those positions or knowing that we can be in those positions. And
it's hard. It's hard to sign up for something that you don't necessarily trust. It's hard to sign up to be a police officer when you're like, nah, I don't really rock with you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, right? I'm not saying that people shouldn't. But again, and going back to what Keon said, it's also a mindset thing too. A lot of people don't see themselves in those places enough, right? A lot of people just don't see themselves achieving certain things. But I also think that it's also like, I'll never be a cop because of the experiences that I went through. A lot of people take it in a negative sense as opposed to, nah, you should try to do it to create change. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how I am as a person. You know, anybody who knows Keon, I'm mad competitive. I always want to win.
Talk that talk.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who I'm playing against. It doesn't matter. Like people could like, oh, yo, these people is D1 or, oh, you know, they're ranked, or it doesn't matter if I'm a coach and I'm coaching you guys, or if I'm on the court myself, or if it's tic-tac-toe, if it's Monopoly.
Jump rope, hopscotch.
Jump rope, I don't care. Hold your breath.
I'm about to violate.
I'm trying to win. And so being in that mindset of like, I'm trying to win, is like, I'm always trying to say, okay, this is the game. And if I play the game one round and I saw, okay, boom, the game was played one round and this was the strategic move that was used and they lost. All right, boom, we trying to play that game again. Oh, they did this move and they lost. All right, boom. So every time there's an L, as a competitive person, I cannot say I'm hopeless. I say, okay, bet there was an L in that strategic move. Let's find another move. Let's find another move. I am not trying to quit. I'm not trying to lose. If I exist, if there's still a game on, if there's still something to be won, and I'm still playing, I'm trying to play to win.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to play to lose. So in that being the framework for how I move is that, okay, we protested before. I've walked around when like I said, when Trayvon Martin killer got away with it, George Zimmerman got away with it on all charges.
Bruh.
Hold on a second. My little people's in here. When they got away with it, I was so mad because I thought, okay, it makes sense. They told the guy not to chase him. He still did it anyways. The kid was unarmed. He was a boy, and you ended his life. And they went to court. They did it the court way. Take it to the streets. We didn't find him, catch him outside. We took it to the courts.
No, you're right.
All right, so then the verdict came out. And then it just baffled my mind. How did this guy get off?
Yeah.
So I was so infuriated. I was like, I cannot believe they made this man get off. I could not believe it. And when that took place, I marched. But then I said, you know what? All right, say less. This is not working either, because another thing happened after that, and another thing happened after that. I'm not gonna say it's not productive. I'm not gonna say it doesn't move the needle. But y'all, let's have a wave of y'all do that. There's probably a wave of people who got bread who's making moves over here too. I'm trying to say, let's hit every aspect of this situation because we are attacked on all fronts. Let's wage war and have rage and have passion trying to be a lawyer.
Everything.
Making sure our kids are educated rightly.
Everything.
Making sure that our kids are eating properly.
Everything.
Making sure that the next generation is being put on game. So if I have me with knowledge, understanding, and experiences, I'm bringing on a little homie with me saying, yo, this is how you got to do this. Oh, there's other avenues to collect your bread. There's other ways where you could impact your community. Oh, no, your life is not just worth this. Or you're not as insignificant as they say you are. Your history does not start off as you being a slave. No, if I have this information, my responsibility as a man and as a Black man in this community is like, oh, let me impart game to somebody else. Because in doing so, I'm now making another soldier who's going to impart somebody on game, who's going to do something different than to say, you know what, whatever the brainwash that they told me, it don't matter. So my life is not nothing. So he ends up giving it away.
Yeah,
I want to win. And the optimist in me is saying, you know what? If we were all kings, if we were all like these powerful beings in this world, and I know we are because we have made something out of nothing every generation, every single generation, when we were given the scraps, we made beauty out of it. If we continue to do that, how can you say we're going to lose? How can you say we're going to lose? Yes, it's a battle. Yes, we're losing soldiers. Yes, it's painful, but I cannot be hopeless. I cannot be hopeless. Just us having a conversation together, allowing each other to grieve and feel this pain and to rant and rave. This is an opportunity that wasn't afforded to us before, because we would be with each other. We would be by ourselves dealing with this issue and dealing with this pain and dealing with this rage. But now there are people who are saying, you know, let's open up a support group. Let's talk about this. Let's vent together. Let's reason and rationalize together. In doing so, I'm just saying, yo, how can we win, man? How can we win? That's all my mind is. That's what keeps me up at night. What do I have within myself that will help the next generation, will help our situation so that we can win?
I agree. Okay.
No, so my question based off of that is like, all right, so what's now you're saying we should play on all strategize on all fronts. What is your it's just a question for everybody. What's your role in the game to win? Like, because everybody has a different role. We're not all in one area. So I want to see like what's your role, Kim? What's your role, Shaq? What's your role, Frankie? What's your role, Akeem, to win in this game? So for me, there's multiple ways, but right now I'm I'm a poet, I'm an artist, I'm a writer. I know that in media, I'm learning media is important. My words are important. How I paint this moment is going to be here forever. And it's like, so it's my job to capture the emotions of the people, to capture the thoughts and put that on paper, and that's gonna live on. That's how I'll make my, that's the way I'll make my difference. But that's not the same for everybody. Just like Akeem is a lawyer, and I want to know what's your role in this game on this team to win.
I think for me, I just want to just address a little piece of what Keon said. I think I agree with everything he was saying. The hard part for me is accepting the fact that there are no 3 rounds at life. Like there are no 3 rounds. Like I don't get 3 rounds to live this. You get what I'm saying? Like once I'm gone, I'm gone. And so yeah, we can try to figure it out, but in figuring it out, what happens when I lose my life, right? So it's like I don't get to come back and figure out how they beat me and how they got me and see what I could do better. Like I just don't get to do that. But I do agree with all the steps that you said. But as far as my role for me personally is first and foremost being a family man. Like I think that in our community, we need more people that are going to be dedicated to raising their children to be the next solutions to life problems. And then I would say caring for the young people in our community, empowering, helping them to see their beauty, helping them to see their worth, being able to go to HBCUs and speak like I have been over the past year, being able to do college retreats and speak and help people understand that it's, life is bigger than you. And if you really want to make an impact, you've got to be selfless. And I think that that's all of the things that Keon is saying is like, yo, it's bigger than us. You know what I'm saying? And I think all of our roles should be whatever it is. But in doing our roles, we also have to do it with pure intentions, knowing that it's bigger than us. So,
yeah.
I'm
Frankie.
I'm gonna let Frankie go, but just one point in what you said, Shaq, is like you answered the question about you don't get 3 rounds. It's bigger than us. It's not a matter of 3 rounds with me. It's a matter of like, it's death is inevitable. But when I die, 10 will rise up because of what I did. And so like, it's a 100-year plan. My success is not going to only be contingent on me being alive. It's going to be contingent on what I did when I was alive.
That's true.
Talk about what my part is.
That's true because I think that I don't think that sometimes we don't understand that the solutions that we're coming up with may not happen in our lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the things that we're trying to solve, it's not going to happen tomorrow. So I rock with that.
Yeah. So for me, and I agree with what Keon and what Shaq is saying, and what the way that happens. It's to answer Shaq's question and also to piggyback off of what Keon is saying is the idea. I am a strong believer in discipleship and mentorship. I am a very strong believer in that. As we are developing as I was developing as a young Black man, losing my mother at a very early age, my very first mentor was the gangbanger. My very first mentor was a gangbanger. I didn't know nothing about mentorship. I didn't know nothing about following dude, but this dude treated me like nobody else. Like he was the big homie. Like he would do whatever for me. And that's what he showed me love that nobody else showed me to my limited vision. I was on Flatbush. That was my limited vision. My limited vision was if somebody messed with me, if somebody got your back, then that person loves you. And that's what he showed. And in that, he brought me down in a path for, yeah, Pop.
Stop talking.
Hold on 2 seconds, Pop. Hold on.
Shout out to Cinco. What's good, Cinco?
Cinco. Shout out to Cinco. But he brought me down a path where, it wasn't really working for me until I met my second mentor when my mother passed, and I was a very dark place. All I knew was gangbanging. All I knew was fighting and doing all this. My other mentor, shout out to Samuel Pierre, who exposed me to a world that I had no knowledge of, exposed me to what it meant for your vote to count. How does your vote trickle down? He exposed me to how local politics works. Not only how local politics works, how does the Black dollar work? What's the importance of supporting Black businesses? I didn't know this. I wouldn't have known this from the age of 13 to my age now. I've been exposed to circle after circle after circle after circle that I would have never been exposed to had I went down the other path. The way we do our due diligence and the way I do my due diligence, I always reach back to the hood. I always go back to square one where I started to find another person who I see straying away. I'm like, nah. You want to fight? You angry? Let me show you how to release that anger. You upset? Let me show you how to do that. Oh, you mad, right? What you gonna do? Oh, you gonna fight? Oh, then you gonna get locked up. But who's gonna take care of your mother? Who's gonna take care of your brothers? Let me show you how to really do this. And it's our mandate on how it's our mandate to do that as Black men, to take up the next young homie and really show him the ropes. It's up like the way Keon is like a good friend of mine, very business minded and understands economics and understands how to build your brand and being an entrepreneur. This man is just phenomenal. Had he not imparted the knowledge on me, how could I impart it on my son? And how can my son then take it to the next level and impart it on the next generation? So what Keon is saying, it is 100-year plan, because I'm gonna get all the knowledge that I can. But the thing is, the knowledge can't die with me. The tactic can't die with me. I gotta pass it on.
Yo, and that's facts. Yo, and I want to say this before I let Keon go. Every big homie out there, if you're not putting your little mans on, you failing them. Facts. You failing them.
Facts.
And you gotta put your little homies on game, on positive game. Stop trying to put them onto the street. Stop trying to make them sell for you. Stop trying to make them do this and do that and do this and do that. You got to put your little homies on game, because they matter, and the future, the brightness of the future depends on them.
That's real.
You guys hit it all on the nail, man. What's the question again?
What's your role? What role do you play in helping us win?
So my role is being the best of me, being my best self, always evolving, because this world's a changing world. So I know that I'm an entrepreneur. I know that I'm a mentor. I know that I'm a big brother to a lot of people. I know that I'm a businessman. I know that I'm a family man. And so being the best in all those dynamics is my role. I know that I'm a militant, I know that I'm someone who is aware and also spiritually aware as well. So with all those things, I have to say, you know what? My role is there going to be silence on these issues when I paint? Is there going to be silence on these issues when I mentor? Is there going to be silence on issues when I coach? Is there going to be silence on these issues when I do anything? I think once you find your purpose as an individual and there's true balance within yourself, my role in the world is like, when I exist in this world, there has to be impact. And in any platform that arises, there must be impact. It's going to be a weight and heaviness that comes when I come into the room and have a conversation, or when I respond, or how I deal. And that only is going to happen when I continue to work on myself and continue to grind on myself, but then also be a master of all the crafts that has been imparted on me. So that's kind of what my role is. So people know that I want you guys to be killing and winning and being great as much as I want to be great myself. And people who know me know I had that conversation with you individually and say, yo, I'm not satisfied until you greater and bigger and doing things that will amaze the mind.
Yeah.
There's people who I taught, who I was a teacher to, who are PhD, who are about to get their PhD. who've taught in bigger schools than me, who make more money than me. It's just, I was the one who did it for them, but I was a part of that situation. I was a part of helping them out, and that's my role.
That's real. That's everything I feel too. I agree with Keon saying there has to be impact. The misconception is that when we see things like this happen, we're looking for the big reveal and the big change and the big rollout plan, and it's like, continue to grind, and that's specific to your own community. And like, we are our community, we are our accountability, we are brothers that we're growing together. We've seen each other grow in different areas, and like everybody said, it's the cultivating of that, and it's the supporting of that. And same thing in my field, in the field of law, knowing that I need to be, when I graduate law school, I need to be the best attorney possible. And even now, as a law student, as a brother, as a son, as an uncle, what are the resources and the people I have around me that I'm growing? I can't say that I want to see a major change if I'm not talking and checking in on my parents. I can't say that I want to be the best I can see change if I'm not dedicated to my work, if I'm not dedicated to school, if you're a father, if you're not dedicated to your child, if you're not dedicated to your wife. How are you trying to change the entire community, but your household is in shambles? That's not going to work. So you can go and be in uproar, but your household has to be settled first. And I think I agree. It has to start community-based, has to start just within yourself and in your household before you can move forward. Now, just to make a complete switch, a conversation, I want to get specifically to holding white people and Caucasians and being very aware of white supremacy in this society. How are we holding white people accountable? And that's our white friends who would not speak up, our white friends who have spoke directly to the situation and felt like he must have done something. I want to hear the white people who say, I want to hear more. The white people you've encountered that feel like they're better than you because of their skin. And like I said, we recognize that there's this is all systematic. And second to that, it's going to be a large question, specifically with the church. We're all Christian men here, specifically with the church and the lack of speaking out from white Christian leaders and Black Christian leaders. What is our response to those things? So if you want to grab at each one or go ahead, I don't know.
I'm gonna shoot first. I'm gonna let that
Talk
thing
Frankie.
fly.
Talk Frankie.
Let that thing
go.
fly.
Let's go.
Fly right now. Not too much though. But anyway,
no. This is the junction, bro.
No, but to the first part of your question, could you remind me of the first part?
How are we holding?
Right. I got it. How are we holding our white friends accountable?
Yeah.
So
who exhibit white privilege? Yeah.
So I think the first thing we need, our white friends need to understand is you can empathize, but you can't sympathize. Or is it the other way around? I think it's you can empathize, but you can't sympathize. You can't feel what we're feeling. You can feel sorry for us. You can say, "Oh, that's messed up," but you can't. You don't know what we're going through. Like I was saying before at the beginning of the podcast, you don't know what it is to when your brother says, I'm going to the corner store and it's over 10 minutes and you get anxious and you just send a text. You just send a text like, hey, bro, what's going on? Just to see if anything happened. Because it could be a number of situations that happen. It could be he got pulled over by the cops and some police brutality happened. It could be he got caught up with some dudes on a block and he's in some trouble. It could be so many different things, all because the color of his skin.
Yeah.
What they need to understand is you don't share those same fears and you don't share that with us. Understand that. So you can't dictate how to address those feelings. That's one. Understand the difference between me being Black and you being white. Understand that if I do something, it has a very different set of consequences than when you do. So when we're in the same space, don't put me in a situation where is gonna keep me in it's gonna put me in jeopardy. Yeah, I know you got a ticket out, but I don't got a ticket out. And also, if you do understand your white privilege in its entirety, there was a video I saw on Instagram that blew my mind. I haven't seen white privilege used in this way. And I'm not saying that anybody put themselves in the line of fire, but I haven't seen white privilege used in this way. And it blew my mind. There was a young man who stood up in a courthouse. He went, with the people, his white counterparts, he went in the front of the courthouse and he proceeded to stand on top of a table to protest. As he's going, white protesters circled around him, stood and put their bodies in front of the cops. The cops are trying to grab this black man, but everywhere the white person stood in front of, the cops didn't even think of. I don't even think it was in their conscience. They were trying to move around the white person, not even realizing you are extremely racist. If you couldn't put your hands on that white person and drag him out the way to get to your objective, you are extremely racist. And that is the type of awareness we need from our white counterparts. If you know that the color of your skin could help me in this way in my initiative, then help me. Don't be a this is not a spectator sport. Facts. Don't be a spectator. In the words of Rihanna, pull up. For real talk, pull up. Like and that's what it is.
It's not a spectator sport. That's facts.
This is not a spectator sport. I need your involvement. I need your pain. And then it's not saying I'm diminishing any other lives, but this is the matter at hand.
Yeah.
This is the matter at hand. This is not an all lives matter situation. This is a Black Lives Matter. Black people are dying. Black people are dying. And that's what I have to say to that. That whole other side of your question is something that needs to be that needs to be the next question. Let's unpack.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine.
All right.
That's fair. I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
That's a whole nother. But how am I holding white people accountable? Can I be real with y'all?
Yeah, bro. It's the junction, bro. What you need? That's what we here for.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not holding them accountable, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm tired of holding them accountable. I'm tired of saying this is what you need to do, and this is what you need to do, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. I'm done with that. Like if you wasn't in an uproar over Trayvon, you could miss me with George Floyd. If you wasn't in an uproar over Emmett Till, over Rodney King, over Sandra Bland, you could miss me with Ahmaud Arbery. So I am no longer holding anybody accountable but myself, but my brothers, but my sisters, but my family. That is it, period. You do what you want to do, and we're going to make the come up on our own. Peace.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. Shit. Talk about. All right, Kia, that's all you.
Nah, he's on the same type of time I'm on. I'm done with all that back and forth. And you know what I'm saying? It's because I understand that me having a conversation is energy. It's transference of energy.
It is energy.
I've had these conversations. I was Twitter, computer, and all these people who were saying crazy stuff, and people who I thought had compassion or empathy or who should have some sort of understanding because of what the human situation that's going on in their world. And once I realized that, this is going to go from me giving you truth and you taking it from your perspective and not seeing anything that I'm saying, I said, I'm not wasting this energy anymore. I'm not. You could ask me a question. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to keep it all the way 100. But if you expect this to be an exchange and I need to now enlighten you, I'm not wasting my energy on that no more. I'm just not. I don't have that. I just don't have that mindset to be like, let me bring you to the light or let me bring you to understanding. I don't have that time because that energy is important. That time, that conversation, that communication could be spent elsewhere. Why? Because after I have this conversation with you and you don't go to a place of understanding, I'm taking that home with me. I'm bringing that energy with me. I'm like, dang, and I'm going back and forth within myself while you are going on into your life as if nothing happened.
Right.
You know?
Not a care in the world.
stump me or stew me or hey, he didn't give me my answer that I wanted, you continue on the way you was living. And I will have to what? Continue on to the way I was living. And so what did that do for me? What did that do for me? I'm going to leave with this point is that I just believe all that we have, all that we need, we already have, and we already have it. It's just finding a way to put it all together, put the pieces together. We don't need nothing else, is what we already have. I do appreciate, I will embrace, and I will continue to say, yes, thank you for those who say, you know what? I want to be a part. I want to support. I want to be what they say, ally or accomplice or whatever new word they want to use. I appreciate it. I got nothing wrong with that. I appreciate it. Honestly do. I genuinely do. And I thank people who post and who write and who say this is wrong. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But you're asking a question on what do I say and what do I do? I have no words. I have no words.
It's all cap, bro. Like it's all cap.
Somebody out in the street doing something to somebody, I don't care who that color is. People know me. I'll be like, hey, stop that.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Yeah. For me, Keon, man, it's all cap.
Leave her alone. You can't do that. Come on.
Yeah, and I'm seeing like it's all cap for me, man. It's all like I'm noticing how standing with Black people has now become a trend, right? It's like it's now this thing that okay, everybody else is doing it. Now I gotta do it. Like I gotta make a statement because everybody else is making a statement. Now I gotta put this out there. Now I gotta say this because everybody, and I'm gonna look like the no. Show me how you really feel and be silent. Show me how you really feel and be silent. You know what I'm saying? At this point, like Keon said, man, ally. Come on, bro. We've been doing this without allies. Why stop now?
I seen a question in the live that I thought was interesting, and it says from Kamal. It says, "Can we defeat racism without them starting to be accountable or playing a part?" Like, is it possible to defeat racism without the help of white people in general? Like to really defeat it, like not like to like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll speak to that. It's racism. That's an individual thing. Real talk. Like I can't change how you view me. I can't make you not afraid of me. That's instinctive to you. That's something that was it's sketched into your brain.
Yeah.
It needs to be a whole societal change. It needs to be. That's not a cookie cutter answer for that question. There's no do we don't need. No, it just like people just need to keep it a buck with themselves. People need to keep it a buck with themselves and who they are, and honestly look at themselves in the mirror and be like, do you really think this is okay? And they have to ask themselves that question. And it's not up to just like y'all said, it's not up to us to hold them accountable, but it is up to us to make sure that we're good. At the end of the day, racism was something that was put together, and colorism and making one color more superior than other back in the 1400s with the conquistadors, and in that it was just part of this mission to spread, to your second point, Christianity, right? And it was what the people who were not Christians or who were not in the European sphere were labeled as savages. Like indigenous people in other countries was labeled as savages. The indigenous people of America were labeled savages. My thing is, I can't change your mind. I can't change your mind. Racism is something that's innate. I can't change it. Honestly, I don't have an answer for that question. If I could be completely honest, I don't.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback on what Frankie said is that, I cannot. Racism as an individual, that's gonna always exist. We have to deal with systematic. Systematic is like you're going to put a system in place to stop me. Now, if you dislike me, that's fine. Everybody has the right to dislike somebody else. But if your dislike, whether for whatever reason stops me from advancing or impedes upon my life,
Then we got
That's
problems.
when we all have an issue.
Yep.
Right? That's when we all have an issue. Your dislike has to stay at dislike. It can't move into other spaces. Do we need other people to help us with that? I don't know about need and help and all those things. I just think, like I said, it's a very good and nuanced question. I just feel like it's a matter of, if people come to an understanding of humanity, it betters themselves. The reality of it is this: if this continues to happen, the world is affected negatively, not just Black people. A lot of things that's going on in this world is because of this. We could be a better world if this didn't exist. All right. Imagine the healing of diseases, of sicknesses. Imagine the removal of a lot of anxiety and pain and situations that are going on across this world if this particular thing didn't exist. If people could all grow up and be their true and best self without being impeded upon by another human being. So it is in everybody's best interest that racism is abolished. It's for the benefit of humanity. That's what it is. So if you have a desire for humanity to exist in the world and in this planet and be its best self, then racism should be your issue. But in terms of me dealing with demanding respect for the Black man, me dealing with the issues of demanding respect, it's gonna be nothing else will be tolerated. All right.
Thanks.
Nothing else will be tolerated. Okay. And that's all I gotta say about that.
Shaq, you want to speak on that, or we'll move to the next question? All right. So I think we should, now is a good chance. Now I'm going to ask the second question about the church. Like I said, we're all Christian men. Now, it's not our jobs to explain to them, but what about the people we call our fellow brothers and sisters in Christ, who are white and Black, who don't speak out against these things? We go to church with these people, or we see them on Facebook or Instagram, and we say these are part of the body of Christ. Is this answer the same? That is not my job. And then specifically with church leaders, people in leadership, pastors, elders, whoever, what is their position to play in all this? When something like this happens, a Black man is killed is murdered in the street, willfully murdered in the street. How are Black leaders and how are leaders in general in our body of Christ supposed to respond to this?
I'm gonna let the Bishop Taylor take this one. Come on, Bishop.
Bishop Taylor. Come on, Bishop. Speak, Bishop.
Hilarious. That's a question and a half. But I'm gonna just say this. If you call yourself a Christian and you don't stand for justice, you a coward to me. Period. You a coward to me. I can't respect it. I just can't respect it. Number two, I think that we need to, if there's anything that Corona has taught us, being that we're in this pandemic, it has taught us that the church is bigger than a building, right? Thanks. Church is bigger than a building. There's a whole lot I could say, and y'all know there's a whole lot I could say.
Say it all, bro.
Come on, Bishop. Come on, Bishop.
But I'm gonna say this. Your Christianity and my Christianity ain't the same if you can't stand for what I stand for. It's just not the same. You have a slave mentality of Christianity. You don't believe the same Bible that I believe. You still have a whip in your hand. You still have a chain in your hand. And here's my thing. We live in a society where everybody wants a diverse church, but nobody wants the diverse culture to infiltrate their church. And so my whole problem is this. My problem is this. Are we gonna stand for what's right, or are we gonna stand for what fills the offering buckets?
You bet. Yeah, I'm about to throw a whole.
Are we going let's just keep it a whole 100? Like, are we gonna stand for what's right, or are we gonna be afraid that the person that's the biggest offering giver is gonna leave? Like, are we gonna stand for what's right and call our Black brothers and sisters and try to figure out ways that we can have some racial reconciliation? Or are we going to continue to plan our 3-day revivals? Are we going to stand for what's right? Or are we going to have another anniversary service with bad singing? Are we going to have another anniversary service where all the preacher is doing is trying to raise funds? Are we going to have another, like, are we going to really do what's right? Or are we going to keep having church? Because like we're very good at having church. Very. Like, we're excellent at having church. Like, we know when to put the preacher on. We know when to put the prayer team on. We know what songs to sing for the event. We know how to connect the dots as far as church ethics go. But when it comes to situations like this, the church is Casper. The church is GOAT. The church is LeBron James in 2011 in the NBA Finals. The church is GOAT. I'm just keeping it a whole 100 with you. I'm just keeping it a whole 100 with you. What I would like to see, for real, like what I would like to see going forward is for the church to stop trying to get Black people to be white. Like, let's just stop trying to get Black people to be white. No, I don't feel comfortable singing your CCM song. Let me sing my gospel song.
The clip is not empty yet. It's still going.
Like, there's this slave masters mentality within our churches, white and Black, because there are a lot of Black pastors that's not speaking out. Because I seen a post from a guy that says, "I'm called to preach the gospel, not to be an activist." Well, my Jesus ain't call you, because
you got the wrong Jesus.
The Jesus that I know walked up to a woman while she was about to be stoned, and he said, "Whoever's without the first sin, y'all cast the first stone." Yeah. The Jesus I know walked up to a woman, who he met her at a well, and she had a whole bunch of issues. Man. And he had conversation with her before he became her healer. He tried to develop rapport with her. He asked her questions. You get what I'm saying? Like we need to stop trying to fill our churches with Black people and not trying to have Black people fill our churches, if that makes sense. So my whole thing is, and I'm almost done. We're closing. We're closing. Get
the benediction.
Come on.
Get ready.
You can't say you love me if you put your politics over my life. I'm gonna say that again. You can't say you love me if you put your politics over my life. If abortion is more of an issue than racism in this country, you can't say you love me. Yeah. You can't say you love me. If gun laws is more of an issue to you than racism, you can't say you love me. Because if reopening the economy is more of an issue than racism is, then you can't say you love me. Because the same energy that you put into making sure that Planned Parenthood is shut down is the same energy you need to put into making sure that every person that is murdered by the hands of racism gets justice. It's the same energy. I need that same energy. Right. So my whole thing is, we need to stop calling ourselves Christians when we totally left Christ out the picture. Period. Because Christ is a God of love. He loves all. He's a God that stands for what's right. Facts. He's a God that stands for what's right. And I will end by saying this: if you are silent, if you put those matters before you put my life, then you are a coward to me. Period.
Well, Bishop, we thank you for those words. We thank you for those words of enlightenment, Bishop.
Put the Cash App in the comments.
Put the Cash App in the comments. Nah, but all jokes aside,
straight facts.
Came out swinging. Yikes. Yeah, dag, bro. That was heavy. That was a little deeper than I was willing to go, to be honest. If I could be transparent, it is a struggle. It's so much a struggle. I don't even like to use the word Christian anymore. I like to use the word believer, because people have perverted the term. I think what we need to do is we need to model Christ. We need it just as Shaq has said, we need to go into the trenches, go into the ghetto, go to the person who's hurting the most, see the injustice and stand in front of a mob. That was actually the story that did it for me. Jesus stood in front of a mob that had stones ready. Some people was probably mid-throw. And Jesus was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Relax.
He's like, I feel you. As a matter of fact, I'm about to pick up a stone too. But before I pick up my stone, if you didn't sin, be first, and I throw it right after you. Everybody drop their joint. What we need is that type of solidarity. We need that type of solidarity. And I'm torn in two, because I've seen some quote unquote Christians, people who call themselves believers, react in a way that Christ would be disgusted at.
Exactly.
And the comments that I've read, Christ would just be disgusted at.
Yeah.
You don't cover up a situation like this with other situations. Address the situation. As Jesus said, how can you preach to someone if they're hungry and you don't give them food? How can you talk to someone if they're thirsty and you don't give them something to drink? The message is not going to get through to them, as the message is not getting through to us. You can't talk to us if we are not getting the reparations that we need. We're not getting the justice that we need. Like, it's right now, we Helen Keller. We don't see you. We don't hear you. We can't talk to you because we're not receiving what we need. And what a lot of us need is that justice. We need that advocacy for our counterparts who are Christians, who happen to be of the Caucasian race. We need them to stand up and as they say, model Christ. What being Christian is, model Christ. We need you to model Christ. And it's hard. It's hard, but it's something that has to be done. It's hard for you because you don't want to be uncomfortable, but it's something that has to be done. It's hard because it'll mess up your normal, but give us a new normal, but it has to be done. You understand what I'm saying? So
no, I definitely
Shaq, man, you went a lot deeper than I was willing to go. But brother, let me tell you something. It is imperative we model Christ. And when we're taking the conversation to church, that's all that matters. And a lot of people want to pick and choose when they want to model Christ and how they want to model Christ, and not modeling him for who he is in his entirety. And it just baffles me. It baffles me. But that's where I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna stay right there. And now we got another bomb. We got another atomic bomb that's about to drop, brother.
It's on you. It's on you.
Man, I'm gonna take it from another perspective. Like, church is an institution. I'm gonna start off by saying this: I do not represent any institution as I have this conversation. I don't represent any institution, whether it be my job or a place where I would worship. So as I speak this, I'm trying to let you guys, or any political sway, and nor do they hold me. And in these institutions, there are people, and we make an assumption that if somebody's a Democrat or if somebody's a Christian, somebody's a Republican, we make assumptions based on the institution that they hold themselves under. And in this question of Christians being held accountable is because we say you're supposed to be like Christ, right? And you're acting and behaving this way. Well, all that went, for me personally, that went all out the window in terms of being surprised and shocked at the behavior of evangelicals. The last straw, that's why I say it's a very pivotal moment for my life, was Trayvon Martin, was how people behaved during that situation. A lot of people who I went to school with, a lot of people who I felt like would have understanding, that was not received. And I didn't receive any empathy or sympathy during that time. All right. And so it gave me true understanding about a lot of things, whether it be through government and whether it be through the institution of the church. Now, I say that with understanding there are people who are sincere, who have empathy, who care, who are Christians and who are not, who are Democrats and who are Republicans. who are of any institution. But for me to hold somebody because they say they're a Christian believer, I believe that your institution of just like somebody has said before, you're from a lot of people's system of Christian. It's not the culture of all Christians different. That's why you speak different. They're all different. And I don't know if you guys, I don't know, you guys can hear me?
Yeah, it was breaking up a little bit. You're good. You're good.
So in terms of holding Christians accountable, like, I don't know, I don't have any shock or sadness or anger towards them, because the American Christian is not at all resemblance of, like someone has said before, a follower of Jesus. All right, I'm a fan of Jesus. Just that's what I'll probably say I am, is a fan of him. He's a real cool dude, man. He was real. He was, the way he moved in this earth and how he tried to impart love into this world before he left, and they took his life. That's who is God, Messiah. That is who your Lord is, and how you move. The system of it and who you follow, it has gone to different places. The way you conduct yourself and who you follow has gone to two different places. You got to understand, Christianity didn't just come after slavery. It was Christians in slavery. There were Christians and believers who went to church and had slaves and whooped their slaves and raped their slaves and ripped them apart and mutilated their kids and raped their wives, raped their daughters, and raped their sons. And they were Christians, and fed them that information about, you a Christian too. So to me, it's a deeper question, but I'll just stop at the point of, it's an institution, and the way it looks in America's evangelical church does not look like what Jesus was trying to institute when he existed on this earth. They look different. And so you respond differently, and I understand. That's all.
Yeah, I want to.
I can get deeper, but I try to just keep it right there.
Yeah. I want to say this just to end this point for me. I always want to attach this statement to what I say. I think we've had this narrative of America is a Christian nation, and I disagree. I don't think America is a Christian nation, but I do think that America is a mission field filled with people that are in need of the hope of Jesus, and that's it. We need to stop saying that this is a Christian nation. No, this is a mission field that needs people like you and me to help, period.
We're gonna thank the bishop for that. Altar call. So, thank you, Bishop. We appreciate, just drop the cash app. God bless you. We'll send you some holy water.
Yo.
To close out. Yeah, I agree 100% with Shaq. This is not a Christian nation. What this nation emulates is not of Christ. There's so many areas where people are just trying to create a Christianity that fits their lifestyle so they can label themselves as Christians. But like my mother said, God rest her soul, salvation is not for wimps. Salvation is not for no punks. To follow Jesus is not for no punk. It's not for the faint-hearted, because it's not easy. It's not easy. And it being not easy, it means that you have to remove yourself from your comfortable place, from the place of comfort, from the place where you feel that most protected. You have to relinquish that and rely on Jesus protecting you. And that's what we're asking of our Caucasian Christians. We're asking you to get out of your place of comfort get out of the place where you feel safe and allow the Holy Spirit to keep you safe. He is our protector. He protects all of us. Come out of your place of comfort. Come meet us on the battlefield. Meet us on the battlefield and let God protect us. That's all I got to say about that.
That's real. That's good. Whew, that's a lot.
That's super.
That's a lot, y'all.
You done left with blessed, and you heavy and you blessed at the same time. It's too
all
much.
Of it. Too much.
Man. Switching gears a little bit to another similar important topic.
Last question.
There's a question on here that a lot of people wanted to be asked, because being that on this panel is just 5 men, and the difference is there's no woman, there's no black woman on this panel. And so a question from Latoya Archibald says, can you speak on the roles that black women have played in shaping your consciousness and the men you are today? And I think everybody could.
Yeah, can I jump in on that?
Yeah, start it off.
Yeah.
My black queens, let's go.
Yeah. It was black women who, first of all, let me give a shout out to the strength and the resilience of the black woman, who is extremely unappreciated, who is extremely diminished and overlooked. I appreciate you. I applaud you. I honor you. You are amazing. We love you. Us black men, we love you. You can always feel safe with us. We love you. We love you. I didn't say black boys. I said black men.
Yep.
Get that right. Us black men, we love you and we will protect you. Understand this. Every person in my life who has brought a sense of consciousness to my color and to my history has been a woman. My 11th grade English teacher, Miss Bergen, was the first person to make me realize that the history books, the history that we were taught in class was one-sided. She was like, you think I'm teaching you what I want to teach? I can't teach you what I want to teach you. I'll get fired. She sent me to go look up, I forget the name of this town. Maybe you guys, maybe Keon and me and Keon spoke about this town, about the first black Wall Street, the first black affluent town that, had their own money and the dollar was circulating in there. And then overnight, like KKK just burned it down. Huh? Say it again?
Tulsa?
I believe so. Yeah. And then my 11th grade teacher told me that. I didn't even get taught that in college. And you need to understand, it has been the mandate, and it has been almost like, and it's almost been unspoken for that the black woman has been taking up the mantle to educate us black men in our history, not only in our history, but in our finances, how to move, because us black men understand we strong. We super strong. We superhero strong. I'm talking about we got the strength of 10 men. Us black men, we super strong. But what we lack is grace and elegance as a black woman. And this is what they have imparted on us. Grace and elegance and the knowledge and intellect that they were able, the black woman that impacted my life, such as my mother, Miss Bergen, my former boss, Rona, like a whole bunch of black women who really took the time, my former boss, Francilia, who took the time to impart knowledge on me and open my view to things that I was laser focused on. They was able to open my view and give me a way of strategic approach to certain things, because I was all brute force, but they showed me finesse. They showed me tactic. You understand what I'm saying? All the black women in my life has showed me this and given me that soft touch that I needed to push my agenda forward. I'm gonna let y'all talk on that.
That's good,
man. Man, for me, y'all excuse me, I get a little emotional because I grew up with a single mother. For me, black women are everything. For me, everything. You can't tell me that there was another stronger being on planet Earth than a black woman. My mom was my first teacher. When my dad walked out in our lives, she was the one that instilled confidence in me. She was the one that told me I could be anything I wanted to be. My mom played college basketball, so I learned everything that I know on the court from my mom. My mom taught me how to ride a bike. My mom taught me more than just my ABCs, but she taught me that you got to fight 10 times harder in this life to succeed because of how people see you. For me, it's like I don't even have the words, bro. Like, I don't even have the words. Like, I just appreciate everything that a Black woman is. I appreciate their grace, their beauty, their strength. But most importantly, I appreciate their willingness to carry burdens that we won't carry. I appreciate their willingness to carry burdens that we won't carry. I'm talking about spiritually, there were moments where I was at my lowest, and it was my grandmother, it was my mom, who did more than just talk to me, but they prayed for me. You get what I'm saying? Like, it was the prayers of those women who catapulted me to who I am today. Like, I am nothing without the strength of a Black woman. And so for me, Black women have shaped everything. Like, when I say everything I am, everything I am. Even down to my wife, who I got to give a shout out to.
Hey, shout out to Rhea. Let's get it, Rhea.
Shout out to Rhea.
Seeing my wife on a table, on a C-section table, getting ready to give birth, almost bleeding out. I'm talking about almost dying, and to still see a smile on her face while I'm over there like a little baby crying. To see the fact that through 5 children, she had to endure 9 months of body changes, hormones going all over the place. Your mental health is all over the place. That is something that none of us on this call can do. None of us on this call can endure that type of pain. And then so I go from my grandmother to my mom to my wife, and then now I'm blessed to be able to raise 5 beautiful queens who teach me every day what it is to continue to love. So, man, that's it.
That's good.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Rhea for birthing them beautiful 5 girls.
Facts.
Shout out.
That is facts. Much props, much props. Just to echo the sentiment of everybody, I too was raised by a single mother, and she taught me everything in terms of learning what it is to have family, to love, culture, pushing me to travel the world. She traveled the world, making sure that I had role models in my life that allowed me to see what a man is and strengthen me in the way that she I tell people that I went to a program called the Science Skills Center, an after-school program, and that's where I learned from a young age about the history of the Black man and how it didn't start off in slavery, and how there were so many impactful things that the Black men have done in this world, and so much contributions that we have given to this world. So I acknowledge my mother, the woman in my family, my aunts, my cousins who have imparted on me just loving me through knowing the pain that I have to deal with when I'm going in this world. I have to give acknowledgement to the wife, the mother of my children, who she has to go into this world and see death and violence take place to Black men, and say, and have to hold those feelings and those emotions, and have to deal with those things on a daily basis, knowing that you have a son, knowing that you have a Black husband, knowing that you have Black children.
Shout out Tasha. You good, Tasha?
So I understand, like, the Black woman having to deal with that, and then have to like save face when it comes to the stereotype of the angry Black woman. You know, when they have to deal with that emotion of all that, the things that we deal with, but then, you know, having to be that backbone for a family structure.
Yeah.
And then I had to give it to my daughter, because that was the moment. I tell people this a lot. I don't tell a lot of people, but I do tell people that I understood I had to live. you know, even though I have rage and I have passion and I have that I'm willing to go all the way for what my cause is, there's somebody who is looking at me and I'm responsible for. So with that great responsibility, she from that moment of her existence, I realized, nah, I gotta live as long as possible to make sure that this world is better for her. And then now my son. But it was her who like, nah, this is more than you. This is more than you. And so the Black woman, where's her role? Her role is holding it down to the point of us coming to realization or awareness or being awakened, and then having to heal the wounds and sometimes fight when we don't fight, or sometimes when we fight have to come back and put us together, and having to go through all these things with us. So their role is right beside. Can I understand fully their pain, what they go through? No, I can't. I can't understand it. I can't, you know, I could almost imagine, but yeah, they hold a very deep and important role in my life.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. Two things I want to add on to. First, I want to just shout out my wife. Everybody giving shout outs.
Yeah, shout out Renee. Renee was goody.
Nah, but and in that I will say my wife, my mother, my every Black woman who, you know, who means something to me. All Black women mean something to me. I'm talking about those who have a personal relationship with.
Yeah.
In all my experience, there's no being on this earth that loves like a Black woman. The love that they show.
Nice.
And I'm not even talking about on an intimacy level. I'm talking about on a level of caring for you and really understanding where your headspace is at, and being able to look at you and give you what you need in the moment, whether it be a sandwich, a hug, a talk, or whatever you may need in that moment. Their role in this is the love that they bring to the table, and as I said before, the grace and the way they teach. They just have the touch that they have on things is just so delicate, and it's so bro. I can go on for days about this.
Thanks.
Yo, and not. I have two boys, and me and my wife I have two boys. I don't understand how any parent could raise someone by themselves. I don't get it. I have one son. And I got another on the way. I'm losing my mind. I'm a new father, but I'm still losing my mind. But the thing is, I really want to shout out all single mothers, all single parents, but truly the Black mother. It's hard to raise a Black man. Hear me. It is hard to raise a Black man in a society where they can die at any second of the day. It is hard to do it successfully, and to have your son graduate and make something. I'm about to get emotional. You need to understand that takes a different type of tenacity. It just takes a different type of beast to do it so gracefully. It's just you can't put it into words. You just can't. Just can't. It's
good, bro.
Can I say this? Can I say this before we end? Can I say one more thing? I want to say this because I believe in giving people their flowers while they're still here. And I believe in Black men encouraging other Black men. I want to say to everybody on here, I love y'all. I'm proud of each and every one of y'all.
Too, bro.
The confidence that you guys show, the willingness to work hard, the willingness to thrive. You guys are amazing. You guys are beautiful. You guys are strong. You guys are patient. You guys are men of peace. And I just gotta affirm that and confirm that in y'all, and let y'all know that me and y'all are inspirations to so many people out there. So keep being beautiful. Keep being beautiful. Word.
That's good, man. Thank you, bro.
brother.
To you too.
Appreciate that, bro.
Bro. I'm not gonna let y'all brag on all the women y'all love and not my own. Like, you're not gonna cut me out of this. So,
go, bro, go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody know me. You know my mom. You know how special my mom is to me. I love my mom. Like I don't know. My mom is everything. Like, she's the most special person I've ever met, like, in life. And anybody who met my mom knows why I say that. And my mom is not, she didn't, like, in terms of how she shaped my consciousness, she showed me what love was, like, action wise. Like, I never seen someone so selfless. And so when I'm selfish, it's like I have no reason to be selfish because I see my mom do it. I see my mom taking everybody and I have to, even when it was inconvenient to her, to us, what was comfortable.
Bro, your mom
to
is
us.
everybody's mom, bro.
Yeah, exactly. My mom is everybody's mom. Everybody knows my mom, Auntie Colleen. Like,
Facts.
she told me how to love through just how she told me how to talk to people. So it wasn't like, oh, Jason, love white people, love black people. She just loved people. So if she treated a black person the same way she treated a white person, and it doesn't matter if they're from church or in Key Food, it doesn't matter. Like, she'll make a conversation with anybody. Like, it doesn't, like, for real. Shout out to Key Food.
Hold on. Does Key Food still exist?
Yo, there's still Key Food around here.
And Keon said we're not investing in Key Food no more. So
my bad. I still take that shout out back. My bad.
Key Food and Family Dollar.
All that.
Yo, man.
So it's just, and my mom's impact is triggered onto all the women. I have so much women. My sister Nydia, my Auntie Barbara, rest in peace, Auntie Annette. All these, all my aunties, predominant woman family has raised me into the man I am today. Also, I'm not gonna forget my dad. My dad is there, and my dad is active and a big role. But in terms of what we're talking about right now, there's more women shape in the house. Like, we are outnumbered. My dad is me, my dad, and Paul, and there was like 9 women. There's Kimmy, Christine, Nydia, Paul, Auntie Annette, Auntie Barbara, my grandma is and they all shape us so much that I don't know who I'd be, where I'd be without them. And it's just like, I love them, man. That's for real. That's all.
Man, that's good.
I've been raised by black women so much. I know how to buy bundles. I know exactly how to go to the store and say, yo, let me get a wet and wavy 1B.
Yo,
let me get that 18-inch. Don't forget the wave cap. Don't forget the hair glue. Like,
yo, facts, man, that was beautiful. That's all good, bro.
So, I'm about to say, Hakeem, you don't got nobody you want to shout out?
Absolutely. There's not even a question. But what Shaq said about a praying woman, man, I've never seen any woman or any person intercede or pray or go to the throne room of God like a black woman can. They got a deeper level from the jump. And I started with my grandmother, my mom's mother. Man, since we were kids, me and my siblings, you could say, since we were kids, sprinkling oil on our faces while we sleeping. We waking up, we hear my grandmother walking around the house, pleading the blood, 6 o'clock in the morning. Like, yo, what's all that? But praying, interceding, and that she passed that down to my mom, and then passed it down to us. And seeing how my sisters are the same way, it's like that intercessory and that praying it goes way deeper with black women, and that's what I appreciate in my life. I wouldn't have been anywhere I was, where I'm at, without a praying black woman in my life. And that's at all stages. Like I said, my grandmother, my mother, my sisters, people I've come across in my career. Black women have been so pivotal to me, providing opportunities, speaking, like you said, Frankie, speaking life into you, and looking in your eyes and seeing something that you can't even see yourself. It's almost scary. Like, what? Like, why I feel like you know me better than I know myself. What are you doing? But it's how they were made. They just do. It's how they're created. That's how they're wired, and they're a gift. And it is so special to be able to be in community with them, to be a son, to be a brother to black women, to be a friend of black women. It's a privilege and it's an honor, because a lot of times we take it for granted what they do in our lives. And I also want to apologize for Black men for taking you guys for granted for a lot. And even in situations like these with George Floyd, a lot of women who are killed by police officers also often gets pushed to the side and not talked about as much because Black women lives don't matter as much as
boy.
Black men's lives sometimes. So apologize for those things too. But it's without a shadow of a doubt that the Black queens that I've come across in my life, like I said, career, church, school, everywhere, being able to be a part of their lives and them be a part of my life has been a privilege and an honor. So shout out to my mom, shout out to my sister, shout out to my friends, shout out to all my friends who reached out to me this week and affirmed me. A lot of Black women, some of my Black friends have reached out and affirmed me, like, I know what you're going through. This is tough. I want to affirm you that you're amazing. Like, that was groundbreaking for me. So being able to experience that and being able to know that God has placed these women in my lives, this shows how much God loves me, because he blessed me with all these Black women. So shout out to y'all. We love you guys. There's no other better way to end this episode.
You heard Akeem, right? He blessed me with all these.
Yo, chill. We not gonna get it.
Body talk.
Body talk. We not Black. You know we not gonna get.
Let's not do that. Let's not. We just come on, Bishop.
Come on, Bishop.
Come on, Bishop.
Let's end this on a holy note. A holy note.
Come on, Bishop.
Yo. So that no better way to end this podcast and to give a shout out to y'all. But thank you guys. Thank you, Keon. Shout out to Francois. Thank you, Shaq, for being here. We love you.
Yo, we just did something special right here.
For real.
This is special.
Our first live episode. This is the Junction Podcast.
Yo, this is legendary, man.
Facts.
Legendary, bro.
For real. A quick 40-piece shout out to the 4. I saw a 44 maybe.
Yeah, that 45, 46.
So shout out to all y'all in the live that stayed with us. We did this for 2 hours.
Exactly.
And the fact that y'all stayed with us, it was like, that means we are engaged. You was with us, and we
appreciate
your engagement with us the whole way through. All your comments, everything was well needed. We feed off of that.
Yeah, for
and
real.
Don't stop. We need that. We love y'all for real. So
for real. And we're gonna be coming back with more episodes.
Yes, sir.
For sure. We're gonna be in y'all faces. We talk about sports.
Guests are gonna be back.
Yeah, more guests. Yeah.
It's not gonna be. This is for special occasions. We're gonna save this. This is our right here. But they'll be back individually, because you can't handle all this at once.
Yeah, this is very special, man, for a very special time. So we're gonna be back. We talk about sports. We talk about culture. We talk about music. We talk about everything that goes in the world, and especially at times like this where us as Black men, we needed to come and talk about this. Real quick, all your guests, shout out your IGs where people can find y'all
and anything
media.
that you're up to, anything you want to promote and put on.
Yes, shout it out.
All right, I'll go first. I'm gonna shout out my IG. My IG is let me figure this out. I don't even really know it like that. I think it's Frankie _Oxide OCCIDE 4. You can follow me. Also, I want to give a shout out. If you are home and you are hungry and you need some food, shout out to my boy Passion Palette.
Hey, Passion Palette!
Follow Passion Palette at passion_palette at Instagram. Let me tell you, his macaroni is fire. His fried chicken, fire. Creamy spinach,
mango shrimp.
The jerk mango shrimp. Let me tell you something about this food.
Hold on. I gotta interrupt you, brother. Have you ever reheated the salmon joint?
Yo!
First of all, I gotta interrupt all of y'all because I don't even live in New York no more, and I'm tight that Nikki giving everybody food. He gonna have to see me in these hands. Me and him gonna have to see the fair one.
It's the Passion Palette. You gotta order, son. He got the menu up. Go passion_palette. Go follow Nikki. Chef, he's amazing. His food is his service is amazing. His customer service is amazing. He'll deliver right to your door. You have to order a day in advance. Go check his IG for the new menu. He has a new menu every several weeks.
Yo, Nick, put your handle in the chat, bro. Put everything in the chat. Let people know what's going on, man. And that's what we do in the Junction Podcast. We shout out our brothers and our Black-owned businesses, man. And shout out to Clack. We're gonna shout out Clack Designs, our very own Keon. We got to.
You can follow me at King Clack. At King Clack. That's my personal page, and then also my business page is at Clack Designs. Also got clackdesigns.com clothing line. But I am an artist, so I paint. I'm on my painting wave for a very long time now. So you
Yeah.
can follow me. Yeah, man, I'm trying to create entrepreneur. My brother and I, we have Lewis Brothers Funds, Lewis Brothers Group.
Awesome.
Entrepreneurial business. So you'll be stay tuned for that. Lewis Brothers Group is about to be on the rise as well. So
Amazing.
yeah.
On you.
You can follow me at king.taylor on Instagram. And then you can subscribe to the Girl Dad Podcast on everything. Spotify, Apple Music.
All of it.
All of it. We're giving you the best Girl Dad content you could ever look for.
Yeah.
And you know, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to God. That sounds wild, but shout out to
Yo, but bro, Bishop, give him your Cash App so they can send the offer.
Oh man. Oh man, we not even gonna do that.
That's a man of integrity right there.
Exactly.
I'm talking modeling after Christ right there. Come on, Bishop.
Come on. Man, that's real. And of course, follow the Junction Podcast on everything. The Junction on Facebook, like our page, please. The Junction
You
Podcast.
can follow us
on
individually too.
Yep.
But you know your boy. I'm here at Booker J Poems, and we got Akeem over here. Shout out to Instagram too.
The Impossible at _ the Impossible Dream.
Hey man, don't follow him, man. It's all thirst trap photos. Do not follow this guy. This is all thirst trap. He got his
for him looking up to the sky.
Nah, I'm joking.
Yeah, he is his lawyer bag now.
Yeah.
So he looking to the sky.
Yo, he
Not
don't be
even.
looking at nothing though. He don't be looking at nothing.
Or nothing
Hashtag
was
He
the
got
same
slim
album
and
cover.
skinny. It was a wrap. You got slim, and that was it.
I said
Nothing
we're
was the
not.
same.
I said
album
we're
covers.
not doing this. I said we're not doing this. Y'all get
Bro.
me excited?
Listen,
Let's
we
close
do.
out. Let's close-
Listen,
let's
all your
close
pictures
out.
look like album covers. Like, why do all your pictures
Word.
His
look
DMs
like
is
nothing
flooded
was
right
the
now.
same?
DMs is flooded.
No,
DMs
my
is
DMs is
flooded,
not flooded.
Keon.
My DMs is on cricket. I don't know what y'all talking about. But thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys. We appreciate you guys.
Word.
Like I said, we will be back with more content. We are here for y'all. We love doing this. We love bringing people together and talking about this stuff. We know that it's needed, especially during this time. We are not silent on these issues. We justice for George Floyd. These police officers need to be convicted and put in jail, and there needs to be repercussions for these actions. We're going to continue to grow as Black people, as a Black community, and we just want to grow with y'all, man. Like, let's do this. Let's work, let's grind, and let's love. We love y'all.
Sure.
Thank you, guys. All right, y'all. It's the Junction.
Yes, sir.